So welcome to the second, or I guess this is our third class on sports betting, sports investing, however you want to look at it. So if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, come into visit or message in the chat if you can't talk, and I'll reply. So another way of passive income, I usually do about an hour to 2 hours of research before I put my picks in. So these are basically will do the research that I'm going to do for tonight right here with you all. And you can see exactly what I look at, different websites, different money, distribution, East Coast versus West Coast teams, etc. So I'll do a little bit of recap. So different sports books. These are three of the bigger ones. Better's only in Ohio. It's for kind of beginning betters. The user interface is really, really easy. So if you're in Ohio, that's something to use. FanDuel and DraftKings, we all know. Um, DraftKings, I used to trade quite a bit. So these are some, and then you have Barstool Sportsbook, etc. Um, now we're going to talk about, so there's three main ways that you can bet on a game. You can bet the spread. So this is today. So Los Angeles Clippers versus Golden State. So this open and the spread you can see they're different. So the spread opened at -3 and it's currently at -3.5. So that means the Clippers are 3.5 point favorites to win the game. If they win by 3, then if you bet -3.5 and the Clippers win by 3, then you lose that bet. If they win by, so essentially they have to bet 4 or more. This 0.5 is called a hook. So basically, if they win by 4, 5, 6, up to 70, 100, however much, you'll win the bet. If the Warriors lose by 3 all the way up to winning, if they win by 10, then you bet the spread. So essentially, they're giving the Warriors 3 points to lose by for you to win this bet. And then you can see this -110 here. So if you you have to bet $110 to win $100. So if you bet $10, you win $1. That's what that -110 is about. Here, the money line, because they're 3.5 point favorites, obviously, if you bet them straight up, so if they just have to win, then it's worse odds. So -165. So you put $165 on this, you win $100. I don't tend to bet anything less than 145. So if it's -145, sometimes I can bet a -150, but I tend to stay away, because if they end up losing and you bet, let's say a unit is 100. So when I say to bet a unit, it's to win that. So if I say, okay, 1 unit and your unit size is $100, you have to bet $165. So if that loses, that's going to slash your bankroll, slash your return on investment, etc. This plus here, this +135. So Golden State are underdogs. So you only have to bet. So if you bet $100 and you win $135. So to win a unit here, you have to bet $80. You bet $80, they lose. Obviously, your bankroll is still a little bit bigger than if you bet this -165 and lost that. There's a recorded course in the sports recording that you can go back and we talk about this more in depth. These are alternate sports books if you are in a state that isn't legal. So Bovada, MyBookie, BetUS, Bet365. So for me, since I'm in Ghana, this is the sports book that I'm currently using. A lot of the big handicappers, they use 4 or 5 different books, just because you can see here, this +135, you might be able to get it at +140 or +150. You're betting tens of thousands of dollars. That extra 5 points is huge. Always talk about the psychology of trading, psychology of betting. It's called bankroll management. So again, 1 unit is anywhere between 1 to 3% of your bankroll. I bet a maximum of 3 units. So essentially, if my bankroll, if I bet 2% of my bankroll as 1 unit, then I'll bet maximum 6%. So if I have $1,000, the most that I will put on any bet will be $60. If I say to win 1 unit, then I might be betting 50 or so $20 up to however much So 60. So 1 unit, $20, 2 units, $40. And again, that's to win, not how much I'm betting. And then you shouldn't, so I might put 5 or 6 picks out at a time, but I make sure that it's less than 15% of my bankroll. So maybe I did a terrible job of handicapping and looking at picks. If I bet and they go 0-6, then I'm going to stop and say, okay, something's not right today. Just like the stock market, you think the stock market's going to be bearish, you get into puts, it turns on you, you're like, all right, I'm out, I'm done for the day. Obviously, there's something I'm missing. And again, bets are to win 1 unit. It's a typo. You can see here, I had a really, really good start to this is the NFL season. I was like, this is insane. And then it's just like a stock chart. So you're going to be having your highs and lows. So here, basically from November 8th to December 13th, I ended up losing. So I lost units all the way for basically a month. I was on a losing streak, but that's why we continued betting a unit after December. Now I've been on a really, really good winning streak. So overall total since last October 4th, I'm essentially up 75 or so units. And then this right here was, so January 15th, I was up 64. Now I'm up I think in February, I had about 16 units gained. There's going to be months, as you see here, that I don't win units. And that's why it's really, really important that you practice your bankroll management and you don't just throw your whole bankroll at any bets. Any questions regarding that? Again, the sports recording, it's a lot more in depth as well on this and the how to bet properly. All right. So I covered so one of the edges that I look at is I look at where the money distribution, especially in college basketball and smaller teams, Division II or even lower ranked teams on smaller, just because if one person's injured, Vegas is gonna know. So the sharps are looking, they're doing hours and hours of research. They have all sorts of different statistics, different models. So if one guy is averaging 20 points in college basketball, he gets injured, it's going to be highly likely that that team's going to be really, really bad until he gets back. So NBA, it's a little bit different because they are all the best of the best. They're professionals. So a lot of things. So essentially, you can look here. So this is the open. We'll just go ahead and go with the Clippers and Warriors. So this is what we saw. And you saw that the Clippers were at -3, and then now they are -3.5. So the odds have went against their favor. That's because 58% of bets, this was earlier in the day. So I took this picture about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So 58% of the bets came in and 79% of the money. So essentially, and then Golden State was getting 42% of the bets, but 21% of the money. So there's a lot more money coming in on the Clippers as opposed to the Warriors. You can see here the Pacers are getting 85%. Again, this was after 10,000 bets. I'll bring it up what it's like now. So at 10,000 bets, Pacers got 85% and 95% of the money that came in. So this is one of the odds that I look for on this, just because Vegas usually the big sharps. So this is what we call sharp action. So when you see the percent of money is above 15 or 20%, then that's sharp. Even you can look here. So 30% of bets came on Washington, 92% of the money. It opened up at +1.5. So you would think if 92% of the money is coming in so this is the best odds. Why would that line change 1 point? So that's where the contrarian bet's coming from. So if I think the Raptors are going to win, I'm going to bet against the public and go for Vegas. So if 92% of bets are on one team, the Vegas obviously wants that team to lose. So contrarian betting is going against what the public is doing and betting with hoping what Vegas wants. A lot of times, most of the time I bet with the public, but on games like this is it's like a trap line in my opinion. So I'll bring up action. So I pay for the membership on this, but the other website that you'll see, I don't pay for. So if we come here, I can go to NBA and look, just because this has all pretty much every single sports book. And then if I come to the spread, we are looking at here. So currently, if we come down, so now you can see how much it has changed. So before we were at, so this is the Clippers and the Warriors. So at the very bottom. Oh, what happened to? So the very bottom, the Clippers were getting 58% of bets, 79% of money, and there was 17,000 bets there. Now let me, oh, what is going on? Sorry. Not sure why all of this. Let me bring this back up. And now we come to the Warriors. So the Clippers are now still getting 58% of the bets, but a lot more money is now coming on Golden State. So this is still a little contrarian. So 58%, 64% of the money, and the public is still. So if I wanted to go contrarian, then I would bet Golden State. I think the Clippers are going to win. They're 2-point favorites. So currently, my pick, or sorry, they're 3-point favorites. So I think the Clippers, but I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to go with another pick that I'll go over in a little bit. The other edge that I look for is East Coast traveling to West Coast, and especially on back-to-back games. So if you think about it, if like the Pacers, so Pacers are traveling to Dallas. They have that flight. Not only do they have the flight, they're sleeping in hotels, and also they are going to a different time zone. So if this game starts at 8:30 p.m., this is Central Time. So that's going to be 10:30 p.m. East Coast time. So the Pacers circadian rhythm and all of that is going to be off. We have another one, the 76ers. So Philadelphia is traveling to Dallas, and you can see here, it has dropped 2 points. So the over under was at 230.5, and then now it's at 228. The Pacers started at 241, and now they have dropped to 237. So a lot of the bets are coming in on the under, even though you can see here 21% of bets and 58% of the money is coming on the over, but the line has moved down. So again, I'll most likely go against the public. So this one right here is the Pacers. So my bet on this is going to be the Pacers and Spurs under 238. Any questions regarding the contrarian betting and then how I do this East Coast to West Coast? Does that make sense? Regarding the circadian rhythm, I think it's circadia, right? Not the like the animal, the bug. I know this might be new for y'all, but I'll go on. So again, so finding an edge. So we just went over the East Coast traveling to West Coast on the back-to-back, and we went over the money distribution. And then the third one for NBA is I look for opposing centers and power forwards who are out. So I go to separate websites. So I look at different websites. So now I'll go over is basically and go over how I come out. So I'll look at ESPN and they tell me the injury report. So Marcus Morris Sr. is one of their better players for the Clippers. He's out. He's on day-to-day. Ivica Zubac is day-to-day. However, I just looked and I don't think he's playing. They don't have his rebounds or anything on there. And then now I look. So he's their center. So now I'm looking, and then Golden State, Steph Curry is out. Andrew Wiggins and Andre Iguodala is also out. So now that two of the forwards, so forwards are usually getting the rebounds for the I'm going to say, okay, well, now who's going to pick up if they're out, who's going to pick up? Obviously, they're going to be replaced, but who's now going to pick up the slack on the rebounding? Well, Kevin Looney is still playing, and he's averaging 9.1 rebounds per game. And obviously, if you come back to our the last 10 games, he has averaged, so last 10, he has averaged 11.5 versus the Clippers, he averages 8.5. So these are the stats that I'm looking at. He had 14, 15, 13, 17 in 4 games. And then on the 28th, so 2 days ago, he had 7 against Portland. However, like I just said, I don't think Zubac is playing, which is the Golden State's top rebounder, or sorry, the Clippers top. He averages 10 rebounds a game. So these 10 rebounds have to be distributed somewhere else. Of course, you have his replacement will get some 2, 3, possibly 6 or 7. So if he gets 6, if the replacement gets 6 or 7, the likelihood that Kevin Looney is going to get another 3, 4, or 5 rebounds is highly. He's averaging 9.1. The last 10 games, he's averaging over 11. And so his over under right now is 10.5 for the game. It's a little low at minus 135 odds, but if Zubac's not playing, I expect this to potentially be a low scoring game. So when there's low scores, that's going to mean a lot of missed shots, a lot more opportunities for rebounds. So for this, like I said, I don't expect, I don't want, I'm not going to bet the under. I think the under is going to hit. So, but my pick here is Kevin Looney over 10.5 rebounds. So he has to get 11 rebounds to get, usually I go down to 10, but if you go to 10 rebounds or more, it goes to minus 200 odds from minus 135. And I don't, like I said, I don't really go under minus 145 or minus 155 odds. Another one is Draymond Green. He might be getting quite a bit of rebounds. So Draymond Green, I don't know what his over under is, but we can look at that to potentially get some rebounds as well. Any questions so far regarding the back? So that's what I talk about with opposing centers outs or forwards. So we can go here. You can see so with the Raptors and the Warriors. Oh, that was me. Sorry. I was like, someone that's some question. So again, here come to the Raptors and Warriors. Not really too many injured players. However, I know Porzingis, Kristaps Porzingis, who's the best player on the Wizards. He's missed the last 2 games. So he's out 2 games. He's averaging 8.6 rebounds. So he's rested. He had a slight injury. It wasn't too serious. And then again, we come here, we look the last 10 games, he averaged 7.6. The last game he played was on Friday, 2/24. He got 6 rebounds. Currently, his over under is 7.5. So his over under is lower than what he's averaging on the year. He's coming in on rest. He's going to play a lot of minutes. So basically, that's what his last 10 is at 7.6, and then at home it's nearly 8 rebounds. So I'm going to go with Porzingis over 7.5 rebounds. Again, just because I know that he was out the last few days. So now we can come here. Oh, let me go back. So because of the All-Star break for the last 2 weeks, and then we're going forward, a lot of East Coast teams are playing East Coast, West Coast teams are playing West Coast. I came back to the 2nd of February. So this is the other website I go to. I don't pay for this. It follows 3 different casinos and their picks. So you can see here, the over-under was 245 for the Pacers at the Lakers. Indiana's on East Coast, Lakers is on West Coast. Pacers were on a back-to-back, and also they're a young team. Los Angeles, they don't sleep, they go out partying, etc. So this total ended up at 223. So it was no sweat to win this bet. The over under was 240. So if you bet the under, and usually what I'll do is I'll put a unit on the under of 240, and then I'll put maybe a half a unit on under 235, and then another half a unit maybe on under 230, just because it's a lot. The odds are a lot more, and then if it loses, I won't lose as much money as if this over 240 hit. And then we can come down. We had where is it? Yeah, so Milwaukee traveled to Los Angeles, another East Coast team going to the Clippers, or we can do Central as well. Central time and West Coast works as well. Again, younger team going out to party, whatnot, enjoying the nightlife, the LA nightlife. So the over under is 229, and then right here, what do we have? 211. So if we did under 229, we could have done under 220 and under 215. Both of these would have hit. It doesn't happen there's not, like I said, I have to go all the way back to February 2nd to find the last major East Coast, like with 2 or 3 games, East Coast to West Coast. So today, fortunately, we have 2 of those, and we can now look at them. So we have the Clippers, Philadelphia. So let's see. Unfortunately, the Indiana and San Antonio is marked out. Like I said, I don't pay for this website, but we still have these. So we still have the 76ers are traveling to Dallas. That's over under 229. And if I look here, so the tickets over 141 tickets have went on the over, and 90 tickets have went on the under. And then I'll come here, and you can see the line has moved from 229.5, is now moved to 226.5. So that right there is showing that it is potentially a trap line for this 76ers versus the Mavericks game, because the public is betting the over. The public is betting the over, but the line is moving down. So Vegas is enticing more and more bets to go over, as opposed to the under, because maybe Vegas knows something. And so I will do what I just talked about, contrarian betting. So I'm betting against the public, and I'm going with Vegas. So the public is on the over, but I still think the under is going to hit. So for the 76ers and Dallas game, I'm going to go under 229.5. And we'll see how that plays out. Again, the public is betting the over, and I'm going to bet against the public to bet the under on this. Questions regarding contrarian betting? Okay. So yeah, now we just went over contrarian betting and East Coast to West Coast. So let's go back and look at the public percentage on these unders for the 2. So it's about 50-50. However, like I said, the line opened, and then now it's dropping for the Pacers and the Spurs. It opened at 241. It's now dropping to 238.5. But you can see it's not too high of differential, 4%. But you can look here, Raptors, there's a 37% differential, and over the under, which is pretty huge. The lines move from 223.5 to 222.5. And again, this is after 55,000 bets. And then the Clippers and Warriors, 26% of bets are coming in, and 68%. So that right there is a huge giveaway. And this is why it's important. You just stick to one unit, because maybe something's going on. The public doesn't know something. I bet the under here. I use the East Coast to West Coast. So essentially, I could bet all 4 unders today. The likelihood of that happening is going to be very, very slim. But all of the apart from this game right here, the Clippers and the Warriors, all of the starting lines have now dropped. And the Clippers from Warriors, it has a huge 42% differential. So essentially what if I don't want to risk 4 units on the unders, then I can still bet a half a unit. So I'm risking 2 units total to bet these 4 unders. And then now we go to the spread and we look, and then I'm looking at this. So the best line, so for the spread, here we have 51% differential, 3%, 21 and 14. So that's why I said I like the Wizards at +2. It might have just because of how we have this betting percentage, how we have this differential and betting percentage. So these are the websites that I go to pretty much every night. I go through and then I'll put my picks down on a piece of paper. There's 2 or 3 guys that I follow. I'll compare my picks with their picks, and then I'll go to different websites and read what are the trends, etc. So right now I have about 10 different picks that I've seen. I've written them down, and then throughout the night, I know the games are about to start. I'll go through and I'll put maybe 3, 4, 5 of those picks out. And that's why I don't put picks every day. If I can't research, I just did this really fast. Usually I go more in depth with myself. But for education's sakes, I'm moving back and forth pretty quickly. So any questions that we have so far? No? Okay. So we can come here back to, we'll go back here to March 2nd, right? So we have 240 and then, where is it? Not that one. Oh. So here you have the over of 225.5, and we can see it right at the very last minute. And this is another reason why I wait late to put. I follow the money. I see that this line is shooting down, and this is at 8 or 6:24. The game starts at 7. So the game starting at 7. What happened? So the game starting at 7, and at the moment it was 115. So basically 30% of bets right here, or sorry, 80% of bets came in on the under. So this line right here is for the over 225. Right at the very end, majority of the bets came down on the under. So that's something I look at. However, if I look here at the Pacers and the Lakers, majority of the bets, it doesn't let me go back. So this is about an hour. So I would have stayed away if it wasn't an East Coast to the West Coast game. But because the public was betting the over on this. Or sorry, that was the standard opening. We go to the current. The public is still betting the current, the over, but I know East Coast to West Coast, kind of like what I'm doing today. There is an East Coast, West Coast where the money's coming the other way, but I still think the under is going to hit. I think the Maverick, yeah. So you can see here, the opening came in. The opening started at 230. It dropped 1 point to 229, and it dropped. But even though more money was coming in on the over, so that's the edge that I look at from Vegas. I said, okay, so Vegas, the money's coming on the over. Why is Vegas bringing the line down a point or 2 points? That's what we call a trap line. With a trap line, they're enticing bettors to continue betting the over. So supply and demand, if the over is being bet on more, you would think, okay, there's higher demand on that, so we're going to supply a higher over. And these are the tricks that Vegas does. They entice people. However, it's a East Coast team playing on the West Coast. So it's usually an automatic bet. It hits more than 62% of the time. If you can hit 52 to 54% of your bets, you're considered a decent handicap. you're a decent sports bettor. So you'll be making money if you stick to the bankroll management. So that's why you have to tell yourself, am I going to do it for fun, or am I doing it for an extra income? Personally, for me, I do it for fun. I do some parlays and other things here and there. That's just how I am. So we have a couple more minutes. I wanted to do it short today just because Mel and Dina have another class here in about 20 minutes. So I don't know who iPad is, but do you have any questions? AJ, do you have any questions? Okay. I don't know if you all do March Madness, but we are betting we're doing different March Madness games. So on Monday I'll do a sports recording. I'll do a recording for the bracketology. It's $20 a bracket or 3 for 50. 15% will go to my organization, nonprofit I started, Scholarship Africa. 15% will go to Mel and Dina's walk that they're doing in Miami, and 70% will go to the winner. If you don't know, that you can definitely you can win the bracket without knowing anything for sports. So there's a lady who was in the 99% of the brackets, and she won her office pool, won hundreds of dollars. And what she did is she didn't do any research. So she picked her bracket specifically on schools that she liked and how cute their animal mascots are in real life. This happens every year. So the Buffalo from Colorado, Yukon Huskies, Wisconsin Badgers, and Kentucky Wildcats. And if you come up here and you see, she got 3 out of the 4 right. The one she missed was Florida, and then she predicted the final 2 purely off of mascots. Okay, awesome. So you don't need to know anything about brackets, but you just fill it out. I will send the sign up via ESPN, and we'll fill it out. We'll make a payment structure, and then we'll have a fun little competition amongst. So the free chat will also be involved. They don't have access to these videos. The VIP has access to these videos, and so it's just going to be a fun little competition. March Madness is one of the best sports times of the year. A lot of upsets, a lot of crazy games, and just to bring the camaraderie back, to bring a little bit more camaraderie, a little bit more little competition, friendly competition into the Discord. So appreciate you all for coming on. If you have any questions, message me. I know I covered a lot in a short amount of time, but just preparing for the March Madness for next Monday, or it's in 2 weeks from today. Again, appreciate you all for coming through. Hope I didn't go too fast and you all understood kind of how. So actionnetwork.com is what I use. And this is what I use to follow my picks. You can come and you can see, you can follow me at morewtrades_. And so yesterday I went 1 and 2, I lost 0.9 units. Last 7, I'm 13 and 14. So not a good return on investment yesterday, but again, only lost 0.9 units. Last 30 days, I'm up 8 units all time. So, but again, you can track all of my picks. I post them. I usually wait till game time, or at least after the first quarter or so, just because this is public. So I just want to make sure that people that are in the VIP have access first to it. And so now we'll just have to wait and see how we continue moving forward. But again, Action Network and then Z Code system line reversals is is what I have, the other major website that I use. We can try to do, before I log off, let's do one real quick on, I think a game is about to start. Yeah, it's 7 Eastern time, right? If I do here, again, it kind of waits until the last moments for, so it went at -1.5. So there's really nothing major, not major movements right now. I'll take a screenshot and post it in the chat at right at 7 o'clock or 6:59 before the game starts, and we'll see if there's any movement on any of these games. But I'm going to take, so we'll recap the 4 unders. I'm going to put at a half a unit. The Clippers I like at -2. It's moved, but my major bet for this is Kevin Looney over 10.5 rebounds and Kawhi Leonard over 24.5 points for the Clippers. 76ers and Mavericks under 229.5. So this is going to be a 1 unit play just because the 76ers East Coast to West Coast. And I also like Dallas -4. They're 1-5 with Kyrie joining. So I think that they're gonna get on board. I really like the Mavericks. Embiid is injured. He's coming back. The Philadelphia's on a back-to-back. However, Embiid's gonna be a little bit slow. And then Washington, I like at +2, along with Porzingis over 7.5 rebounds. So again, I'll put these in the chat and then the sports picks, and then we can hopefully have a great day. Thank you all for joining, and possibly see you in 15 minutes for Mel's chat and group. Or sorry, for Mel's recording.